Hello, Gary Hernandez here, and welcome to Kane Self-Defense with Master Gary Hernandez. We're in a brand new year, and I've had quite a lot of people contact me, and a lot are asking where I've been. To answer that question real quick, I've been spending a lot of time with my students doing the private training with them, whether in the school or on my RDT Zoom training sessions, because I'm doing not just a cane, but I'm also doing open hand with a select group of people as well. So I've kind of been doing that. But I'll be getting back to some YouTube more and more as the time goes on. The second question I get is people were asking me, they're brand new with the cane and they want to learn some basic stuff to get them on their way. I have a lot of different questions, but I'm going to break down two things right now for the brand new beginner. If you've never used a cane for self-defense before, one of the things you want to understand is you're going to have to have a good grip, and then you're going to at least want to be able to hold the cane properly when you swing. There are quite a few different strikes. You have the verticals, you have the horizontals, you have the diagonals, you have straight shot with rifles, you have bayonet strikes. But one of the things you want to make sure you do is you don't lose your cane when you hit a solid object. So, and I've shown a lot of this in the past, but again, brand new year, new people ask me this question. So I'm going to break this first video that I'm doing in February. I'm going to break it down. Okay, on the cane, you're going to have two ways you're going to swing. Either tip on the floor, or you're going to choke down a little bit and get to where you get a good grip. Depending on what your cane, I'm not going to go into the different kind of canes. I'm just going to talk about right now the cane that's in my hand. This is the Urban Defender that I worked with Cane Masters on. Number one, I have grips designed here, and I also have grips designed up here. That's kind of how I liked it when I designed it. Now, one of the things about the grips is it allows me to feel where my fingers need to be. So up here, I already know my fingers are locked into the grips. And a lot of times what I call it tip on the floor is because unless you're set and you're ready for a situation, you also walk, someone comes around, and then you obviously swing real quick because they started to advance on you. Or you got a second, you choke down, and then you swing. Now, we'll cover more about different striking areas later. But again, just the two things, a quick grip. And on the grip, like I said, you're either here, so you're going to hold it tight and you're going to swing, and I'm going to break down the swing in a minute, or you're going to adjust your hand. I don't want you, like I've said many times before, to lean forward. Even though it's just an inch leaning, you're doing two things. You are bringing your face closer to the individual, but you're also telegraphing going, boom. From here, I'm like, hey, look, I don't want a problem. I automatically lean back my cane, that put my hands right where it needs to be to lift up and do a swing. So remember, you're going to either be here, lean back, or you're going to swing from here. Now let's go into the swing real quick. When you're swinging the cane, whether you're swinging like this, whether you're swinging like this, even coming with a back strike, if you've trained in martial arts and you've done bows, I'm going to grab a bow for a minute. You learned with a basic bow strike that when you're striking, you never strike with your palm down. What's the first thing we learned in self-defense on a wrist grab? The thumb is weak, the pull away. We've all worked the swinging out pull away or the step and pull away because the thumb opens up. It's not as strong as people think it is. So if I strike like this with the bow, it can pop out of my hand and hit me. So all the strikes you see, they're coming down, they're bent, turning their wrist to where when you're striking an object, it's staying in here. So the same concept from the bow goes to the cane. So whether I am here or I went ahead and pulled it down, when I'm striking or swinging, again, I'm just giving one target right now. Just going to talk about the head. There's many different targets. But if I'm swinging, let's say I swing horizontally. When the cane hits, right, when it hits like this, it may shoot out of my head, my hand. So I can simply strike like that to where it stays more in my hand. Can I swing like this? Yeah, but you need to make sure you have a tight grip. So when you're here and you come down and you swing like that, make sure you have a good solid grip. Because when you hit, if it's not gripped properly, what's it going to do? Fly out of your hand. So you want to have that solid grip and it hits. Now, if you want to make sure you don't lose your cane, you strike like that. So when it hits, it's more in your palm. You can strike either way, like this or like this. But again, you need to start getting used to that grip. Remember, that cane, when it hits this way, it's no different than when you're doing a bow, it comes out of your hand. So if I'm doing a back swing and I strike, now it's here. I'm not going to strike like this with a a back swing, because it's going to come out of my hand. So again, if I do a strike, I'm going to simply turn, strike like this, and with a back one, boom. So for a good solid strike, I'm hitting this way. So when it hits, it's staying in pressure-wise in the palm of my hand. Again, can I strike like this? You can, but you need to get used to hitting something solid so it doesn't fly out so easily. So when I'm here like this, I pop like this. Let's say I missed him. He ducked. Whether I'm going this way or whether I'm doing more of a secured hit. From here, I'm not going to come back like this, because when it hits, it's going to fly out of my hands. So I'm going to go like this and then return it. I come in, it shifts around, and boom. From this angle here, one, he missed, boom. That way, when I come through with that secondary hit, I'm taking most of the force is coming here versus flying out of my hands. Can I do that like this? Yeah, you can, and I do it quite a bit, but I'm used to hitting a solid object. Start working, hitting a bag, not with your expensive cane. You don't want to damage it, with a training cane, and you want to start hitting. Boom. So when you're swinging your cane and you have your hand on the tip, as you're doing that, now I'm kind of locked in here. So I've got here and here. I'm no longer hitting here or here, but I'm hitting it with my hand in the crook. So I've got strength and stability right here as I come through. As I come in, boom. And my hand slid a little bit. So I'm still holding it strong. You got to get used to hitting that. Now, I don't want to swing it like this on this one. Now, from here, I'm swinging like this because I'm used to it. If you're not used to that cane, you're afraid of losing it, have that palm absorb that force. Especially if your hands are sweaty or uh, it's raining, maybe blood's in your hands. You want to get used to that. Get used to that solid hit. This one here will keep it in a lot more solid than this one. This, you could lose it. But again, tip on the ground. Tip on the ground, and I've discussed this quite a bit in the past. When I swing, I keep the cane in more of a horizontal position versus the crook being in a vertical position. Because if I hit like this, it tends to turn the cane, because this gets a little sweaty and a little bit of a rotation here. But when I hit like this, again, the sides of the crook are going to stabilize my hand. So when I'm on here, when I swing, my palm will be down versus my palm being out, because it's going to turn that cane. So those are just two quick tips. One of them is you're automatically already securing your cane for a swing, tip on the floor, or when you want to simply get ready, slide back, whether it's this way you're used to or whether it's this way you're used to. Remember, slide it back, don't lean forward. Second thing is, make sure if you are going to swing this way, you are used to a solid object. Again, turn your palm to where it eats into your palm versus shooting out of your palm. On the one here, as we talked about, I'm going to keep it here versus having my crook down so it doesn't turn on me. So for the new people, hopefully those tips help. I'll be getting back more on YouTube right now, just kind of working a lot, like I said, with the students. So hopefully that all helps. Practice that. Gary, thank you very much. If you get an opportunity, please subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys very soon. I promise. Have a good night. Bye.